The season is over for the Detroit Pistons, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals after a dominant Game 7 performance inside Detroit, rolling past the Pistons 125-94. We welcome you to the Hardwood Report post-game show. I'm Ryder Bullock. This game honestly never felt competitive after the opening stretch. Donovan Mitchell once again looking every bit like the superstar Cleveland traded for. 26 points, 8 assists, complete control of tempo, and maybe most importantly, 0 turnovers in 31 minutes. That tells you everything about how composed Cleveland was offensively. Mitchell dictated the pace, got into the paint whenever he wanted, and constantly collapsed Detroit's defense. Every time the Pistons threatened to make a push, Cleveland answered immediately. And this was not just Mitchell going hero ball. This was a complete team dismantling. The Cavaliers finished with 31 assists on 43 made field goals. That is postseason basketball at its best. Movement, spacing, trust, patience. Jarrett Allen controlling the interior. Evan Mobley gave Cleveland second chance opportunities all night with 12 rebounds, and James Harden quietly orchestrating stretches of offense that kept Detroit completely off balance. Cleveland owned the paint 58-34 and out-rebounded Detroit 50-41. Physicality. The Cavaliers were the stronger team from start to finish. Meanwhile, for Detroit, this was the nightmare scenario in a Game 7. The Pistons shot just 35% from the floor. Cade Cunningham never found rhythm. The offense became stagnant, and the young Pistons looked rushed by Cleveland's pressure defense all night long. Detroit managed only 21 assists, committed 15 turnovers, and never recovered once Cleveland pushed the lead into double digits during the second quarter. And psychologically, you could feel the frustration building. The fourth quarter sequence involving Max Stress and Asher Thompson summed up the emotional temperature of the game. Cleveland was confident, aggressive, loose. Detroit looked exhausted and overwhelmed by the moment. But by the midway point of the fourth quarter, this building knew the season was ending. Still, perspective matters here because this was an extraordinary year for the Pistons. 60 wins, the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Cade Cunningham taking another leap into stardom. A young core that finally gave this franchise real identity and toughness again. And I know this hurts tonight, okay? But Detroit is not going anywhere. Detroit's not going anywhere. They will be back. And I think the experience of a Game 7 collapse will become fuel for a young contender. But tonight belongs entirely to the Cavaliers because Cleveland came into this series with questions about toughness, playoff composure, and whether this course could survive pressure on the road. They answered all of it in empathetic fashion, winning Game 7 by 31 points on the road against the conference's top seed, and sends a message to the rest of the NBA. And I am sorry to all the Cleveland Cavalier fans. I did not believe in this team. I'm sorry. And I like your chances in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that is the next chapter as the Cavaliers will face the New York Knicks beginning Tuesday night in the Eastern Conference Finals, a matchup loaded with history, physicality, star power, and massive expectations. Madison Square Garden, Game 1 Tuesday night, Cleveland star backcourt, 2 fan bases, starving for a finals appearance. This has the potential to become one of the defining playoff series of the year. And throughout the Eastern Conference Finals, coverage continues on the Hardwood Report. From pregame analysis to halftime breakdowns, post-game reactions, feature stories, and complete series coverage, we'll have you covered every step of the way as Cleveland and New York battle for a trip to the NBA Finals, which I think is going to be fascinating because the Cleveland Cavaliers are moving on, but waiting for them is a New York Knicks team that quietly may have become one of the most dangerous teams left in these playoffs. And if you look back at the regular season, the Knicks took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, and that matters. Not everything translates from October to May, but styles do. And New York's style gave Cleveland problems. The first meeting opening week at Madison Square Garden, Knicks won at 119-11. It was a physical game, a lot of tempo. Knicks controlled the glass late and made Cleveland defend for a full 24 seconds almost every possession. Then Christmas Day, maybe the best regular season game these teams played all year. Knicks won it again, 126-124. Big shots late, pressure, possessions, playoff atmosphere. Cleveland competed, but New York made just a couple more winning plays down the stretch. Now, in the third meeting in February, it was a little different. Cleveland won at 109-94 in Cleveland and, frankly, dominated defensively. That was probably the blueprint Cleveland wants to revisit entering this series. Slow the Knicks' transition game, protect the paint, force New York into contested half-court possessions, and let Donovan Mitchell control tempo offensively. But this series feels completely different now than it did in February. Cleveland comes in emotionally flying high after humiliating Detroit in Game 7 tonight. They looked fast, they looked confident, they looked connected. Donovan Mitchell's healthy. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are controlling the interior. And how about James Harden? His playmaking has given this offense another layer of calm in pressure moments. But the Knicks are rested. Today was day 9. Tomorrow will be day 10. Since the last time that we have seen the New York Knicks. And I think that's important, right? Because the Knicks handled Philadelphia quickly, got off the floor early, and now gets extra preparation time before Game 1 on Tuesday night. So in a long playoff run, those days matter. You know, the legs matter, the recovery matters, and the Knicks are going to try to turn this into a trench fight because statistically, these teams are different. Cleveland wants rhythm, movement, pace, drive and kick basketball, and maybe Cleveland getting hot right now in the quick turnaround, it might help Cleveland. I know I just contradicted myself, but we always kind of see that. Maybe the long rest, you know, because I saw Josh Hart on social. He was at a birthday party. Some of the other guys went on vacation, have come back, and I know their mind right now is on basketball. But you know, over this past week, it was not. Where Cleveland, has been all about it, thinking about it, and now they are still in the moment and will be in the moment tomorrow. And I think that is what's going to drive Cleveland's rhythm, movement, pace, and drive kick basketball. They had 31 assists tonight. That's their game. Ball movement, spacing, downhill pressure. New York wants to drag you into those deep possessions. They want physical rebounding, half-court exhaustion, toughness. You know, Josh Hart's going to be scrappy. You know, Karl Anthony Towns is going to make you physically rebound him. And how about OG Anunoby? He's going to make you exhausted. And I'm not even talking about Jalen Brunson because, good Lord, that's going to make you tired too, especially with just a 24-hour rest. So expect a tough game from the New York Knicks because they want to make every possession feel heavy. And oh, by the way, the Knicks are going to have home court advantage. Madison Square Garden during the conference finals. You can expect to see the big stars. I'm talking Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, Timothée Chalamet. They're all going to be here. That building will be part of the series. No doubt about it. Cleveland's guards are going to hear every single possession. Now, the matchup everybody's going to focus on is Donovan Mitchell against the Knicks' perimeter defense. New York is going to throw multiple bodies at him, bigger defenders, traps, physicality, make somebody else beat you. If Mitchell constantly gets downhill, Cleveland probably controls the series. If New York forces the ball out of his hands and turns these games into grinder possessions in the 90s, low 100s, I'm taking the Knicks. And then there's rebounding battle. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen were monsters tonight. 50 rebounds for Cleveland as a team against Detroit. But New York's front court is more physical than Detroit was. Every loose rebound in this series is going to feel like a playoff collision. And what makes this matchup so compelling is neither team really overwhelms the other on paper. Cleveland probably has slightly more offensive firepower. New York may have the deeper physical identity, Cleveland just survived a brutal 7-game emotional war. New York may be fresher entering Game 1, and that's why this feels like a long series, a real Eastern Conference final battle. Physical crowds, close games, momentum swings, late possessions, superstar shot making, everything you want in May. Tuesday night, it starts Cavaliers-Knicks. Winner goes to the NBA Finals, and again throughout the entire Eastern Conference Finals, complete coverage right here on the Hardwood Report. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Tuesday night, Cavaliers, Knicks. Hardwood Report on Tuesday. Tip-off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Hardwood Report will begin at 7:30. We will see you then.